I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the weeks of October 9th to October 22nd.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns.
While we're here, let me remind you to like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. It turns out people are telling their friends, and their friends are watching and love it. So word of mouth is still the best way to get this show off the ground. And tell your friends to touch my bells and buttons. And if you are a fan of the show and you want to join our community, the best way to do that is to join Phetasy.com. You get the unedited, mostly, version of this dumpster fire every Sunday. You also get an ad-free version of Dumpster Fire on Monday when we drop the dumpster fire for the public. I mean, it's just a great place to go. It's an easy way to support us. And we can keep making your favorite, not a news show, guys. Not a news show.
It's a new category.
This was Maggie's genius title.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yay, So Cray-Ye.
We need a little boom.
Yeah, I know. It does deserve that.
Kanye West's Twitter and Instagram accounts were locked over anti-Semitic comments.
Every single week, Bill Burr's bit about Kanye, which is genius, becomes more and more relevant.
Next time Kanye's going off on himself, I'm telling you, just close your eyes, forget it's him, and really listen to what is coming out of this guy's mouth. My biggest regret is I'll never get to see myself perform live. Dude, you put that ego in a white dude that is, ich bin einen in der Streisen. What's the Blitzkrieg? What's a superior race?
He's genius. He's just a genius.
My greatest pain in life is I will never be able to see me perform.
Well, then in related news, Kanye decided to buy right-wing social media platform Parler because he was blocked off Instagram and Twitter. Apparently.
I mean, it's one thing to be mentally ill. It's another thing to be anti-Semitic.
I mean,
It's hard. I feel bad for him because I feel like he's being exploited every time he turns around. He had that weird interview with Tucker that went viral, and then it turns out that there was like all this anti-Semitic lunacy that he was spewing in that interview that they cut out on Fox. So it felt very much weird that they would even air the interview at all. And then he had that White Lives Matter fashion show with Candace, and I feel like Candace was like, hey, so, my husband owns Parler, and if you want to get in the owning social media game, I can help you out.
Yeah, the timing is definitely suspicious.
what
Yeah.
a mess.
I mean, she's good, man. She tricked Kanye into buying Parler. I respect her. I respect Candace's hustle.
Then Kanye's White Lives Matter shirts were given to the homeless people on Skid Row.
This is like if we dropped off these T-shirts on Skid Row.
It's just awful. I'm laughing because of how awful it is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's like I can't believe it. Like this happened.
Yeah. We live in a South Park. It's just all these unhoused people wandering around looking for drugs and White Lives Matter
Politically
shirts.
homeless.
It's about time a black guy tried to start a cult. I do think it's, it's time.
Equal opportunity
Yeah.
cult leader.
He's definitely trying to start a cult. And then it's like JP Morgan cut ties with him. On the face, everyone was like, JP Morgan cut ties with him because of what he said, and this is free speech, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't think JP Morgan cutting ties with Kanye is doing much to dissuade him about the Jews running the world.
Oh boy.
Maybe let's not cut ties with Kanye. But it turns out it's all about actually Adidas and Yeezys and his shoe line. And it's like way more complicated as usual. And of course, it has to do with someone on a board who sits on both boards. And Adidas does seem like they're kind of screwing over Kanye.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's a whole behind the scenes story that's not just Kanye said something anti-Semitic and JP Morgan is cutting ties with them.
There's a lot of money involved, as you would expect.
And I think Balenciaga, is that how you say that? Because I know nothing about brands. Because I'm a poor. I think they cut ties with him because of actually what he's been saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a loose cannon. I can't believe any brand even has ties with him, period.
I'm shocked.
It's capitalism always winning because he's still valuable, obviously, and he's still freaking talented and genius, but
He's eroding his value
Does
rapidly.
this mean that I can get Yeezys for a discount?
they look like freaking laundry baskets. Why are we paying so much money for these ugly ass shoes? And he thought like his wife was, they did something to his wife somehow. And Pete Davidson, they corrupted his wife, proving once again that Kardashian pussy is more detrimental to the black community than the crack epidemic. I mean, who would have guessed 4 years ago that Trump might be back on Twitter and Kanye's out? I probably would have guessed that, actually. I feel like this is where we're at.
Is Trump back on
I
Twitter?
feel bad for Kanye.
I know. He's
It's
not,
so sad.
He's not well.
Yeah, I imagine how hard it was for those Kardashians, to keep that man reined in for as long as they did. It
Poor
must have
Kris
been like
Jenner.
a full-time job. Yeah.
She was really mom managering it up.
I can't believe she hasn't had him killed yet.
That's next.
She's not Hillary Clinton.
Heyo.
My nemesis is at it again. Elon Musk plans to cut 75% of the Twitter workforce.
First of all, why does Twitter have so many people working? Why does Twitter need 7,500 people? They clearly aren't great at content moderation, and they're clearly not good at anything else that they're supposed to be doing over there. What's the other thing they do with these people?
It's data protection and stuff like that.
They
isn't it?
just
yeah,
had a
right.
data breach. So they're clearly not doing either of the two things that they're supposed to be doing.
No wonder he's getting rid of them.
What do these people even do other than bitch about Elon taking over Twitter? They all were like, we're going to quit if Elon takes over. Okay. Goodbye. Like, maybe don't bitch about your soon-to-be boss and you won't get fired. I hope whoever banned Better Phetasy gets fired.
Yeah.
You can't take away our Better Phetasy. That was the lamest ban. You're banning Better Phetasy and there's like the freaking Ayatollah on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous
Yeah.
It would be a fun conspiracy that the Democratic Party is trying to get Twitter taken down so Trump can't win again. Elon, because all these billionaires are giving Elon money and they either want him to, I think, delete it completely because it's ruining the world, or they want him to keep it up because they're seeing that there's all this encroachment on their free speech.
So
Maybe he will delete it and save the world. I've been saying if Elon cared about the human race, he wouldn't be worried about getting us to Mars. He would delete Twitter.
just spend $44 billion and
Just
delete it.
Delete it. How is anyone supposed to yell at airlines, though, if Twitter disappears?
Get wrecked, big tech.
Get wrecked, big tech.
PayPal retracted the policy that would automatically withdraw money from the accounts of those who were promoting misinformation.
Oh, great. Another tyrannical policy coming down the line. At least we're still selling guns in America. Canada, what are you doing? Also, did you know that there's no term limits for prime ministers in Canada? Anyway, totally separate tangent, but terrifying what's going on up there. And they're way ahead of the curve on all this because they banned anybody trying to raise money for the truckers when the truckers were protesting.
Yeah.
And this is just another one of the many things that we've covered here on Dumpster Fire of the financial institutions starting to try and determine what you can and can't say or think or do. We also had a Walk-Ins Welcome with Colin Wright, and he had his PayPal banned.
Yeah.
If you listen to Walk-Ins Welcome, you would be far ahead of what's going on in the future. You would know what's coming down the pipes if you listen to Walk-Ins Welcome. That's what I've realized. If you watch Dumpster Fire, it's essentially a slide into totalitarianism until we get banned. That is inevitably what's going to happen to the show.
Yeah, someone's going to make a supercut of all the inappropriate we say, and then
We should get ahead of that curve and make it ourselves. If one of our viewers wants to do that for us, we should just get ahead of it.
Well, I mean, if Canada's banning gun sales, it will make them easier to conquer.
This is just...
I like where Maggie's going with this.
We are going to need to live in a colder place.
Yeah, we're going to need to, disappear into
like
the
California.
woods. Yeah.
I mean, this is just straight up stealing $2,500.
Yeah, $2,500 per offense for misinformation with no explanation of what misinformation is.
And they'll hold your money for another 6 months. We're going to start calling it Pilfer Pal.
Well, supposedly, according to this statement PayPal issued, this was not supposed to be part of their policy. The language was never intended to be inserted into their policy. I don't know how it was.
That's bullshit. That's just what they released after everybody pulled their money and deleted their account.
Yeah.
And now they made it hard for you to delete the account. You have to actually call. You could do it online, and now you have to like call and jump through all these hoops.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah. No, PayPal's out of control. Delete your PayPal.
We moved our money the second we found out about this supposed policy they were enacting.
Jaron deleted his immediately. It's like, no.
Yeah.
There are other payment processors. PayPal isn't the only game in town. And even the guys who invented it, like Elon and David Sachs and all these billionaires, they came out and they were like, this is never what this was for.
It's straight up theft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pilfer Pal. Don't you get it, Sam?
I don't.
UT Austin will deploy food delivery robots on campus as part of a study on human and robot encounters in public spaces and how to operate a robot network.
In Texas, these things are just going to be used for target practice. They're like, how do they interact? Poo, poo, poo.
How can he do that?
I don't know. That's so weird. Humans anthropomorphize everything. So I feel like they'll be like, look at these cute little dog robots.
That's weird.
And then the dog robots will maul them.
One of my nephews in college was telling me that they have robots already on campus doing not just like the food delivery, but just like regular robots going.
Oh, God.
And that's like, it's weird.
Gave me the creeps.
Yeah.
We live in the dumbest and weirdest times. It all started with the movie Short Circuit. Johnny Five. It's going to be hard to distinguish the robots from the students after like a week. The students will just be like... People will be leaving their robot dog everywhere, just bags of lug nuts. Look, they're not all home runs, okay?
Important stories we're ignoring.
Ding, 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 ding.
Someone, probably Ukraine, blew up Putin's bridge to Crimea.
There's going to be a lot of people in the comments like, actually.
Waves of suicide drones are dive bombing Kiev. British Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns after 6 weeks in office. January 6th panel issues subpoena to Trump, setting up legal battle over testimony. And Alex Jones was ordered to pay $965 million to Sandy Hook victims' relatives.
We're ignoring all of those.
Parade of morons. Animal Rebellion members are pouring milk all over grocery store floors.
This is our really sweet dumpster fire spot.
Yeah, the climate change activists and
Climate change activists. Yeah, like, what is happening?
These assholes just pouring milk all over the store floors.
This is how you turn low-wage workers into conservatives.
Yes.
You go into their workplace and you make a mess. And then you have them clean it up. And you're a fucking spoiled, entitled little piece of garbage person. I hope you all burn in the fires that are going to engulf the earth because of climate change.
Nice. These are animal
Just kidding.
activists.
Oh, they are?
The animal
Why
rebellion.
do I always confuse the animal?
Because they're the
activists?
same people. But
It's a Venn diagram.
This is one of the most limp dick movements of all time. This is why the UK is in shambles right now. They're just pouring milk out like no big deal.
it's not affecting any of the people that you're hoping to affect. It's just affecting the people who are going to have to clean it up.
And you're taking away from the sacrifice that these animals made.
All right, then we have Just Stop Oil activists throw tomato soup on the Van Gogh sunflowers and super glue themselves to the wall.
Security.
Is this what happens if I don't spank my daughter? Do they become entitled pink, purple-haired activists?
Well, it's funny because Bridget was like, these people should spend the rest of their lives in prison yesterday.
I believe that.
I was like,
still.
wow.
I've slept on it.
I sent you a link,
This is a Van Gogh.
No, I sent you a link, though, of this one, the pink-haired one talking, and it was actually, she was surprisingly articulate. She was like, we never would have done it. We knew it was covered with glass. We knew it was protected. We knew we wouldn't cause any lasting damage.
Absolutely no damage done to the painting. It was behind glass, and we never, ever would have considered doing it if we didn't know that it was behind glass and that we wouldn't do any damage.
And she, like, had her, like, reasons for doing it. I was like, okay, she's pretty articulate about it.
Jail. Guantanamo.
In the shoe.
Just stop oil paintings. That's what this movement's all about.
They're really upset about the oil paintings.
They're part of the watercolor movement. I think it's safe to say the London, UK youth are lashing out because they lost their grandmother. They needed that firm guiding hand to keep them
The stern
on the
queen.
straight and narrow. Are they Russian assets? Is this how Putin activates all of his sleeper cells and they're just climate change activists everywhere?
A group glued themselves to the floor of a VW facility, then complained when they weren't given bowls to use as bathrooms and the heat was turned off.
Glue is made of oil. Everything that they use is made of oil.
Uh-huh.
All the oil people.
We demand the government of Germany to comply with our demands.
Why? What is with the gluing yourself somewhere?
I don't know.
Is this like tying yourself
Are
to
they
a tree?
anti-horses?
Gone to the glue factory.
I think it's just, it makes them harder to remove. Just arrest and get out
Peel
of there.
their skin off.
I don't know. This whole Twitter thread was like this guy, this scientist protester who was like complaining about VW. Like, it was just weird. He was like, they said they supported us and then they refused to give us bowls so that we could urinate. And
You
it's
glued
like,
yourself down.
yeah, you should have thought of that if you're gluing yourself in. And he eventually had to be like taken to the hospital because his hand swelled up. And then he was like, but I'm still on hunger strike until VW caves to our demands.
Hey, dip. No one cares. No one cares. You're a joke. You're a joke on a dumb show that no one watches online.
And then in America, there were protests in D.C. and like people stopping traffic, rush hour traffic, and some woman tells a protester she's going to get her gun if they don't let her through. I was like, that's what happens in America.
I would not f***ing stop traffic in D.C.
Uh-huh. And this woman, she was flipping out. She's like, my mom's in the hospital. I will get my gun.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing the lady she was talking to later. She's like, oh, she pulled out her gun. I saw it.
Move before I pull my gun out. Y'all have choice. I need to get to my mom. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
This is America. We'll shoot you if you block traffic. And now for your favorite segment, it's time to check the weather.
I think it is going to be a sunny day today. Let's see. Oh, yep. What did I tell you?
Sprained my eyes. Tom Brady is finding it impossible to focus on his personal life, says NFL seasons feel like military deployments.
Tom Brady is finding it impossible to shut the f*** up. Please stop talking, Tom. You're ruining your legacy.
I almost look at like a football season like you're going away on deployment in the military.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, here I go again.
Yeah.
Just stop talking.
Pretty boys should be seen, not heard.
Pretty boys should be seen and not heard. Go play some football. Do your fucking job.
Win some Super Bowls and just shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's funny. I feel like this is how we know Giselle is about to go nuclear because she's like gone completely dead silent like a submarine and she's just waiting. You haven't heard a peep out of her.
No.
And he's just like, oh, on podcasts talking about how he wants to be authentic. Oh my God, stop, Tom, please. I'm begging you. It used to be so hot. What? I'm getting dry just listening to you.
I swear, it was Belichick keeping all those dudes in line.
Yeah.
That it allowed him to create the mythology that he's rapidly destroying.
Stop destroying your mythology. You sound like a little bitch. Although on the other hand, it doesn't bode well for the rest of us women that Giselle, the most beautiful woman on earth, can't even convince her husband to make her a priority. Where does that leave the rest of us? Huh?
Yeah, eventually Tom apologized for saying that stupid because he got so trashed for it.
He did apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it was a very poor choice of words.
Yeah, no Tom. Stop talking. What is with all these football guys comparing their multi-million-dollar choice of a profession to Kaepernick compared it to slavery? And Tom is like, it's like going to frickin' Iraq. Like, guys, you get paid millions and millions of dollars to play a stupid game and get brain damage. But you choose this.
But no one's shooting at you.
No one's shooting at you.
You choose to wear tights and run around and smack each other's butts.
Okay.
Moving on to...
I always love
I love
my Buster moments. And Maggie's just like, well, moving on.
They are Buster moments.
That's when I should be like, where's this at?
I just get bleeped.
I'm an uptight.
Dumpster fire couple.
Oh boy.
Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel renewed their vows for their 10-year anniversary.
Nothing says there's recently been an infidelity like renewing your vows. Nothing says this relationship is on the rocks like a public renewal of your vows. Any minute now, I'm expecting the divorce announcement from this couple.
Seriously, we're calling it here and now within a few years.
It's like a joint Facebook account. You're like, oh.
Trouble.
That's where things are headed, eh? The real question is, was Justin Timberlake thinking about me?
We've got to get those shirts made. I swear to God.
Is Justin Timberlake thinking about me? It's just the dumbest shirt. I can't wait to wear it.
It's going to be amazing.
I do feel like anyone who was a guest on the Mother's Day Ellen show that Maggie and I attended as audience members is cursed with their husbands because so far it's Jessica Biel and
Behati Prinsloo.
Yeah, Behati Prinsloo, who's Adam Levine's wife.
Right, and he just was outed for cheating on her or whatever.
And sending the dumbest, most embarrassing text message DMs. Your body is banging. Oh my God, your body. Oh my God, your body is insane. Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Do these guys not know about screenshots?
I don't know. What is happening?
I don't have that on here.
This is a new one.
A woman spent $11,000 to look exactly like her boyfriend's sex doll, and he loves it.
Okay.
Well, she's apparently only had a nose job so far, but she still wants to get her tits done. And she bought him the doll because she couldn't keep up with his ravenous sex drive. And then now they both love the doll, and she thinks the doll's so beautiful she wants to look like her. So she got a nose job and fillers and whatnot. And now she's considering getting a boob job.
And they'll have sex with the doll, one-on-one time with the doll, but there's no jealousy because they also know it's just a doll.
Your thoughts, please, Bridget.
I was just thinking about how it's really what was going through my mind was, yes, it is the end of the world. We've reached the end of the line for humanity. I mean, I guess whatever floats your boat.
It's like Jaren and Elon.
It's like Jaren and Elon. I'm not jealous of Elon.
You're not getting surgery to look like Elon.
No, but Jaren is.
Then we have dumpster diving.
What's next in the dumpster?
The iPhone 14's new crash detection feature keeps calling 911 on roller coasters.
How do they not think this one through? I feel like Apple, like, they're geniuses, but that seems like a big hole in this feature.
In, like, human action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, because no one who works for Apple has ever been on a roller coaster. Nerds.
Nerds.
Apparently, the iPhone didn't get the message to scream inside its heart.
Japan reopens theme parks with new rule to not scream. Instead, they urge customers to scream in their hearts.
That's a callback.
Callback.
Yeah, what happens if you're like engaged in some rough sex and the cops show up? They're like, "Where's the accident?"
Right
That would
here.
have to be some pretty rough sex, though.
Yeah.
You're like on a swing, getting swung around.
Well, you know there's people out there having sex like that.
You.
Yeah, probably the fucking dude and his robot and his sex doll. What if you're having sex with a sex doll and throwing her around in her iPhone?
I think it's the iWatch as part of the phone. I feel like that was part of it.
Who knows? Not me, because I didn't read the article.
I didn't read the article either.
Who has sex with a watch on?
Again, it's my time to remind you that this is not a news show.
We're just going based off of headlines here, people.
We're like the average person.
Sometimes we do due diligence.
Come sit around the dumpster fire
We'll
and
read the
tell your
headline
tale.
and be like, okay, let's just tell you our thoughts about this headline.
Sex with a watch on. Probably a lot of people.
Do you always take your watch off every time you're about to have sex?
Take off my socks.
Wait, I must take off my watch.
Hold on. I don't want to know how short this is.
All right. A snake got loose on a passenger airplane.
Snakes on a plane.
We're not sure where the snake came from, whether it was like brought
didn't
on
read
as
the
a
article.
pet. No, the article didn't say.
I assumed when I heard that it was someone's stupid emotional support snake.
Yeah.
And apparently it wasn't.
I don't know. The article did not make it clear.
Imagine being someone who made fun of that movie, which was everyone, and then it happens to you. You're like, God damn it. I never should have made fun of that stupid movie. There's
Apparently,
it
was in first class too. Everyone started shrieking and pulling up their legs in first class, and it was
defund TSA. This is just more proof of the worthlessness of TSA. They'll take your fucking snow globe, but they won't take the snake.
Your snake.
They'll let a snake on a plane.
You can't bring like a tube of lotion this big in, but they'll be like, that's a snake. Let it pass through. Ridiculous. Such a useless government organization. Truly useless. They've done studies on how it doesn't make anything safer. I can't even get into it. That could be a whole Breaking Bridget segment, the TSA and the uselessness.
All right. Well, now we've got the Circle K. We'll be selling weed in Florida.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Nice Keanu impression.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
You don't buy weed from convenience stores, and you don't buy boner pills from convenience stores, and you don't buy sushi from convenience stores. That's all.
Although Dave sometimes plays Russian roulette and will buy sushi from convenience stores.
Dave.
He's a pleb. He's like, I'm a poor, what? This is for all those stoners who revealed themselves in our comments last week, 2 weeks ago.
There were some stoners who were kind of butthurt about our, they were like, please don't stereotype the typical stoner.
Who's getting butthurt by this show? Who among you is stupid enough to watch this show and get butthurt by anything?
By like a stoner joke.
We are clearly morons.
All right.
Yeah, don't get butthurt by stoner jokes. I was the biggest stoner of all freaking time. My motto was, if you can't do it stoned, it's not worth doing. I have more authority to speak on these matters than anyone. And stoners are a thing. If you have a problem with that, you're probably a stoner. I don't care, because you're not going to get off your couch to do anything about it.
Condescend me, man. Kill you, man.
If we find a button, our motto of this show is finding your sacred cows and grill. What is our motto?
We make burgers out of your sacred cows.
Thank you, Sam. We make burgers out of your sacred cows.
Yeah, if Bridget finds a button, she will push it. I know people were like, I smoke weed every day, and I'm wildly successful. And
good for you.
Like, okay.
I don't smoke weed every day, and I'm not wildly successful. Maybe you have a point.
You shouldn't be offended by this. Otherwise, I might think you have a problem.
Everybody has their thing. Mine is a TSA.
Breaking Bridget. WebMD hosted an online depression test sponsored by a pharmaceutical company so that everyone who took the test was told that they were depressed.
This is bananas.
Yeah, it was literally like even if you answered no to every single one of the questions, you were still told you may be at risk for major depression and urge users to call a doctor right away.
That's so dark.
Yeah.
That is like some of the darkest shit I've heard. These are the pharmaceutical companies that we're supposed to just trust and be like, take whatever they freaking offer us. How many examples of all of these places like the CDC and the FDA being captured by Big Pharma or people who worked for Big Pharma do we need before we have a healthy distrust for the people who are doing these kinds of things, like making WebMD? Imagine taking that and you have no depression and you're like, I'm just going to double check. And then you're like, oh my God, maybe I am suicidal and I had no idea.
I know it was not clear that this was a sponsored test sponsored by this pharmaceutical company that shockingly sells Cymbalta, which is a depression pill.
Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? Yes, of course you can.
What?
Yeah. And then this ties into another story that came out pretty recently where the link between serotonin and depression has basically been disproven. And the review debunks the chemical imbalance theory of depression anyway. So the billion-dollar industry that is antidepressants is actually built on a lie.
They don't even freaking know what they do. That's why they have to like tweak them and take you off this one and put you on another one and take you. Look, I'm all for they save people's lives. There's some people who need them. I do think we live in an over-medicated society. If you are like not working out, not eating well, and don't have good relationships, drinking too much, they don't even ask you any of those questions. You can go in and be all of those things in a raging alcoholic and have so many problems that you could maybe try and address before you go to a pill. And they'll be like, here's 5 prescriptions for your anxiety and your depression. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I mean, yes, I've definitely dealt with some super dark depression. It is scary. You get help if you need it. It is not something to f around with. But
we are not doctors or a news show.
Yeah. But this is also just bullshit.
But it also is chilling how just overly medicated everybody is and how it's the first thing that we turn to is trying to take a pill instead of changing some aspect about your life that might make you feel better. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what might also make you feel better? Getting off your couch and going outside and taking a 20-minute walk every day. That might start making you feel a little bit better than just like turning to a pill. We're all kind of like guinea pigs with this stuff. And they'll go for such high doses right away instead of not everyone. Some doctors are very conservative and they'll inch their way up, but
super high doses are
super
like
high doses.
Gnarly, scary doses right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I love how on the ads are like, this like side effects of this pill might be like, you know, no libido, and suicide.
Blood
You're like,
clots. Yeah, you know.
Suicide?
Isn't it supposed to prevent that?
Why is this a side effect of a pill?
Death.
It's so crazy. And then there was also this week, the CDC added the COVID vaccine to the schedule for kids, which makes me, I mean, you want to talk about breaking Bridget. Homeschool your children. Why?
The flu shot isn't mandated as part of the vaccine schedule for children.
But why? They recommend it, but why? Do you need this now to like go to public schools?
I don't know.
I'm like speechless about that. That makes me so mad that my blood boils. Because you're messing with kids. It's not tested. They don't even get that sick from COVID. They blow it off like a cold normally. So it's not like the measles or polio or anything. Like there's no proof that it actually treats the virus.
Right.
It's just, what are we f***ing doing?
And maybe getting it young as kids would help them grow up with a natural immunity to it, where COVID would just not be an issue anymore if this whole generation of kids grew up getting it. We don't know.
Most of the kids have had it.
Yeah. We just don't know.
We don't know. We do know that there's been lots of science too around some of the vaccine injuries that happen with the young people. Is it worth the like risk? I don't know. Guys, this is going to get slapped with some freaking COVID like misinformation. All I'm saying is that we are just reporting what the CDC did. Do whatever you need to do, but
we're not even reporting it. We're bitching about it because we're not a news show.
Yes. Yes. Still going to get slapped with some warning about misinformation, even though it's...
And a $2,500 fine.
Yeah. This is where we're headed, folks. The darkness is upon us. Now with that, the internet is glorious.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Sit back in the sheets and let's cuddle, bitch. It's time to cuddle, it's time to get it down. Time to do nothing, time to ride and ride around. Get in the convertible and put the drop top.
What?
Look at this stray cat I found.
Where did you find that cat?
Outside.
Go bring it back outside. What are you doing?
Last episode's comments.
Okay, yeah.
Houston Penguin said, you guys didn't all take turns saying thank you to each other at the end. That's literally my favorite part.
I love that one.
We have to make sure we do
We'll
that.
say thank you.
Blue Max said, but was the gerbil trained in chess?
That's a good joke.
Yes.
I wish we had that one on the show. Nice touch.
Yes. La Sombra said, the dead old lady getting blasted by C4 by the government is funny and disturbing and my favorite content.
I had to fill out like for my new license because the government's making us all get those real IDs so they can track us. And I was like, oh, no to being an organ donor. Because of that segment. I was like, I don't know about that anymore.
Jamie Bluer said, is it bizarre that this old conservative Christian baby boomer loves your show? Not bizarre at all.
No.
And Mr. Beach said, I'm so glad this podcast exists. I feel like every episode is made specifically for me. Love you guys and your jazz cabbage. Thank you.
Thank you.
We make every episode for you, Mr. Beach.
Okay, Phetasy news.
We have new merch on BridgetPhetasy.com. Just keep going. We have new merch. We have hoodies. We just launched for all of the merch because winter is coming. Also, some deals. We've got some limited edition stuff coming. And if you spend over $100 on the site, we have free shipping for a limited time. And if you're a member of the Phetasy community at Phetasy.com, you get 20% off your entire order all the time. So that's good reason to join because we have awesome merch, especially our Defund the IRS shirt that I'm obsessed with. Go to BridgetPhetasy.com to find all of your merch. All the links are in the description below. On Walk-Ins Welcome, we had Ariel Pink and Sarah Hayter recently. Check out Walk-Ins Welcome. You can check it out here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Please give it a listen. It's the yin to Dumpster Fire's yang. And we have Dumpster Fire is a podcast itself. If you don't want to watch us, you can listen to us on the road, get it wherever you get your podcasts. We also have a Substack, BridgetPhetasy.substack.com. The link is in the description below. Please subscribe. It's free. You get a newsletter every Friday that aggregates all the content we did for the week. You also get one weekly letter from the politically homeless. Some of you have written us those letters. Thank you. Keep them coming, especially with the elections coming up. You can email us. I am politicallyhomeless@gmail.com. You also get factory settings, which is where Mr. Phetasy and I just talk about this whole month. We did Sober October, so we did content about getting sober, being sober, 12-step, and it's a podcast that we're doing together. I wrote an article just thanking everybody. I was 9 years sober this past week, and thank you for all of your support out there in the comments and in the world. I just go read the piece. I thank everybody, basically. Thank you for my life. We're off next week, and then we're back, and it's our 100th episode. Woo-hoo! So crazy, because this is so much work. I can't believe we're even still here, honestly. We want to hear from you. Tell Maggie in the comments what you think we should be doing for our 100th episode. It can be different if we want. We can do whatever we want.
But it's not, as long as it's not crazy, we do need to,
Well,
You
yeah.
have some limits.
Not many. Dave Yates, Andy Chandler, and Luna Viola for makeup, editing, writing, research. I cannot do this without my team. Thank you to Sammy Flaps and Folds.
Thank you, Bridget.
And thank you, Maggie, Magaroo, Cousin Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
And thank you, viewers, for hanging in there with us. It's getting crazy, and the midterms are coming up, so this will be fun. And then, guess what? More elections, and we're all going to have fun together by the burning dumpster fire. That's it. We did it. 99.
Wow.
Good job, ladies.
We look good for 99.
We look great for 99. This has been your dumpster fire for the weeks of October 9th to October 22nd. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich!